It's Donald Trump versus everybody. I mean, at least everybody in the Republican establishment. So for days now, people have been beating up on him because of his John McCain comments. We're going to do something very unusual on today's program, at least unusual for broadcasting. We're going to play the whole clip. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
On last night's program, we looked at Jeb Bush's recent comment before the McCain stuff broke out that Trump needs to be bold but not divisive. The whole country needs to be united. Are you kidding me? One of the stories that I read said the question remains as to whether or not Donald Trump can unite the Republican Party and unite the country. Only a fool or somebody who is malicious and deceitful would make such a statement. How do you unite people who on one hand want to save babies and on another hand other people who want to butcher them? Rip them apart like that lady in Planned Parenthood. How do you unite people who believe marriage is a covenant, a sacrament given to us from God himself, and those who mock and say two men or two women can have a marriage? How do you unite people who are, on one hand, are working their heart and soul out to make their, to get their daily bread by the sweat of their brow, and then millions of people who are living off not the sweat of their own brow, but the sweat of that guy's brow? How do you unite them? Are you going to have a beer summit with President Obama? The issue is not unity, people. The issue is justice. Remember that. The issue is justice. How could you have unity between Southern slave owners and the slaves? A house divided will fall. Abraham Lincoln wasn't elected because he wanted unity. Can you imagine a reporter during the 1860 election saying, the question remains as to whether or not Abraham Lincoln can unite the Republican Party and unite the country? It's foolishness. It's absolute foolishness. Now, the reason you and I need to grasp this and to say it is because deceit, lies like this, can you unite the country? The underlying question is that the country should be united. No. Justice. The country should have justice. So the reason that we have to focus on this is because the underlying theme of that question is deceit. And deceit has the tendency to numb us. Yes. What we need is unity. Yes. Donald Trump is a bad man because he's divisive. Yes. No, I won't be divisive. I won't talk about things that divide people because we need unity. Unity. There's so much delusion going on in the country and in the Christian community that we need. The Bible says that God's word is like a hammer. Wham! Another place it says, the lion has roared, who can but fear? The Lord has spoken, who can but prophesy? That's book of Amos. So there's this delusion that's going on around us. We need to have prophetic voices, or just voices, alarm bells, hammers dropping that wake us up. And one of the things that I just love about Donald Trump, please understand me, okay? I love Donald Trump because I despise the Republican establishment. And the people in the country right now, the 15,000 crazies that came out to see him in Arizona a week ago, they despise the Republican establishment. And Donald Trump is giving people the permission to stand up against the Republican establishment and to say, oh, you've betrayed us. We despise you. Did you know that Donald Trump actually gave out Lindsey Graham's personal cell phone number I mean, now we're really getting personal. But, you know, guys like Lindsey Graham, who by the way, is cowardly. He is completely compromised. He is the reason, in part, large part, why we have Sotomayor and Kagan on the Supreme Court, because of Lindsey Graham. I don't want unity with Lindsey Graham. I don't want him to be president. I don't want him to be in the Senate. And so a guy like Donald Trump having conflict with John McCain, who has been treacherous when it comes to righteousness, going after Lindsey Graham, Donald Trump going after the establishment, people love it because they're sick of the establishment. Now, when we come back, we're going to do something unique in the broadcast industry. We're going to actually play the clip of what Donald Trump said. You're going to love it. Thanks to friends like you, we have state-of-the-art cameras and state-of-the-art teleprompters and state-of-the-art gear here in the studio. We have one big need, however. We have not yet been able to upgrade our computers. The computers that we use for a television broadcast or to create a documentary are not like the kind that you can just go buy at Best Buy. They are expensive because it takes so much horsepower to create TV series and or documentaries. So I'm asking you, if you want to see this show grow and you want to see us finish the What Would Muhammad Do series, help us get these computers. 3 computers that we need right now are going to be just shy of $20,000. That's the kind of horsepower that we need. Go to the GoFundMe page you see right there. Watch the pilot for What Would Muhammad Do? And if you like the show, give us a gift. Now, most of us know that Donald Trump said something disparaging about John McCain. You know, the headline reads, Donald Trump says John McCain is not a war hero. And people are becoming apoplectic. Well, thankfully, a few people have said, you know, I'm not sure I even like Donald Trump, but that's not what he said. It's not what he said. Now here, we're going to play this clip. And when you see the clip, I want you to notice the rage in the room that erupts when Donald Trump makes his comments about John McCain. Not. Play the clip.
Referring to John McCain, a war hero, 5.5 years as a POW, and you call him a dummy. Is that appropriate in running for president?
Okay, you got to let me speak though, Frank, because you interrupt all the time, okay? So, no, I know him too well. That's the problem. Let's take John McCain. I'm in Phoenix. We have a meeting that is going to have 500 people at the Biltmore Hotel. We get a call from the hotel. It's turmoil. Thousands and thousands of people are showing up. 3-4 days before, they're pitching tents on the hotel grass. The hotel says, we can't handle it. It's going to destroy the hotel. We move it to the convention center. We have 15,000 people. The biggest one ever, bigger than Bernie Sanders, bigger than 15,000 people showed up to hear me speak, bigger than anybody, and everybody knows it. A beautiful day with incredible people that were wonderful, great Americans, I will tell you. John McCain goes, oh boy, Trump makes my life difficult. He had 15,000 crazies show up, crazies. He called them all crazy. I said, they weren't crazy. They were great Americans. These people, if you would have seen these people, I know what crazy is. I know all about crazies. These weren't crazy. So he insulted me, and he insulted everybody in that room. And I said, somebody should run against John McCain, who has been, you know, in my opinion, not so hot. And I supported him. I supported him for president. I raised $1 million for him. It's a lot of money. I supported him. He lost. He let us down. But, you know, he lost. So I never liked him as much after that, because I don't like losers. But Frank, let me get to it. He hit me. He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
Do you agree with that?
He's a war hero because he was captured, okay? You can have, and I believe perhaps he's a war hero, but right now he said some very bad things about a lot of people. So what I said is, John McCain, I disagree with him that these people aren't crazy. And, very importantly, and I speak the truth, he graduated last in his class at Annapolis. So I said, nobody knows that. I said, he graduated last or second to last. He graduated last in his class at Annapolis. And he was upset. I said, why, for telling the truth? See, you're not supposed to say that somebody graduated last or second to last in their class, because you're supposed to be, like Frank says, very nice. Folks, I want to make America great again. We want to get down to brass tacks. We don't want to listen to his stuff with being politically correct and everything has to. We have a lot of work to do. Frank, the other day Hillary Clinton got up and she said, I didn't like Mr. Trump's tone. We have people, Christians, having their heads cut off in the Middle East. We have people dying all over the border, where I was right, 100% right. We have all of this, like medieval times, and she said, I didn't like his tone. And you know who else said that? Jeb Bush. I didn't like his tone. What does it have to do with tone? We want results. This group wants results. We don't want tone.
Did you see it? Did you see it for yourself? Do you see how much the mega media are deceiving us, manipulating us? Listen to this. Trying to be divisive. They're such stinking hypocrites. They say Donald Trump is divisive. And rather than be honest and play the clip in its whole context, where by the way, Donald Trump said that McCain was a war hero, but rather than play the whole clip, they take one little thing out of context and deceive people, trying to browbeat Trump and those who are excited about his fight with the establishment, trying to browbeat him into silence or into getting off the stage, pull out of the race. And Trump is saying, I'm not going anywhere. And by the way, John McCain was last or second to last in his class. By the way, I raised $1 million for John McCain. I didn't like him so much after he lost because I don't like losers. I mean, he's by the way, Hillary Clinton says, I didn't like his tone. Didn't like his tone. That. I loved watching that clip because notice that people in the room had no anger about his comment. They were laughing at things he was saying. They were applauding. They ignored the McCain stuff. Ignored it, except when Trump talked about McCain being a loser or being second to last in his class, right? Then they laughed. But there was no rage in the room because people heard the whole context. Shame. Actually, no. That's silliness. It's silliness for me to say shame on the Republican establishment because they know no shame. They will betray God himself. They will betray innocent blood like Judas. They will betray Christ and the sacrament of marriage. They will betray the most fundamental principles of justice and holiness, and then without embarrassment on their face, without a sense of oh wow, of disgrace, they will say to us that we need to abandon Donald Trump. They have the brazen look, quoting the Bible now, they have the brazen look of a prostitute. Christians must be involved in government, period. If Christians weren't involved in government, we would not have a United States of America. And there have been brilliant Christian minds over the centuries, such as John Locke, who is called the philosopher of American liberty. He was quoted by Clarence Thomas in his recent dissent on the homosexual marriage decision. If we don't understand John Locke, we don't understand the founding of America. I want to send you this book and my book, The Sword, subtitled The Blessing of Righteous Government and The Overthrow of Tyrants. I want to send you these two books for a gift of whatever you can afford. Pay the $8 shipping and handling, which does not cover our costs, and then give a gift of whatever size you want, and we'll send you these books. If you cannot afford anything but the $8, can't even afford that, write us a note, and we'll send them to you for free. I want you to have these books so that you can be better equipped to fight in the political arena. Come on, order them today. I'm going to tell you why I think Donald Trump is an honest man and that he is actually saying the things that he believes. And that some people go, well, he's speaking without a filter. There's something to be said for that. Let me tell you why I believe it. It's because of his comments about marriage, parenting, forgiveness, and communion. I read very carefully some of the comments he's made about those things, and I thought, he really doesn't have somebody writing these scripts. He's really being honest. He's really being honest. John, as you probably know, Donald Trump has been married 3 times and currently not married. So he said, I was a better father than I was a husband. And my wives, it was just hard for them to compete against work. I mean, he's a multi-billionaire. So he had clearly worked a lot, and he worked aggressively, and he worked hard, okay? So, he said, I would eat with the kids. Even when in the middle of all this craziness, I would still have dinner with the kids on most nights. And so he's being honest. He said, I was a better dad than I was a husband. Someone asked him, do you ask God's forgiveness? Now, by the way, on that first one about being a dad and a husband, he didn't sugarcoat it. He said, I worked too much, and I wasn't a very good husband. That's just honest. But it gets better. He said, someone said to him, have you ever asked God's forgiveness? And he thought, and he said, well, when I do something bad, I try to do something good to make up for it, and I don't bring God into it. Now, at first blush, as Christians, we would say, whoa. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. What is he, a Pharisee? How come he doesn't ask God's forgiveness? He was honest. And he said, I just don't bring God into it. I know that I did something wrong. And so these are my words, I'm trying to make amends. Or there's an old theological word called reparation for sins. I'm trying to repair the bad that I've done. So if he had been advised, somebody would have said to him, yes, just say yes, we're all sinners and I've asked God to forgive me. He could have given any one of the trite little sayings that are out there. Didn't do it. When he spoke about communion, then I thought, whoa, you are on really thin ice, Donald Trump. But I thought, he's really telling the truth. He said, when I go to communion, he goes, and I drink a little bit of wine and I eat the wafer. Whoa, Donald, wait. You're talking about Holy Communion. So whatever theological background you are from, all right, body, blood, soul, and divinity, body and blood of Christ, the communion, John Calvin said that Christ was really present in communion. Catholic world teaches that this is the body and blood of Christ. For many Protestants, it's an emblem or a communion or a memorial of the body and blood of Christ. No matter where you're from, it's a sacred it's a sacrament, okay? It's a sacred moment. And he says to drink a little wine and eat the little wafer. I thought, oh, good grief. And then he said, the only time I drink wine is when I drink it then. And I thought, this man is unscripted and he's being honest. No one in their right mind would say something as foolish as that about Holy Communion, except a man that doesn't know any better. He's just saying the truth. I'm thinking, all right. On business matters, you're a genius. On theological matters, not so much. No, but he's honest. Friend, this TV show represents a mission. It's to be a voice of resistance to the evil in the land, but also to inspire people like you to take a stand at any level that you might be able to equip you, to inspire you, to challenge you, to give you the rhetorical ammunition that you need. But we still have to pay bills. This program, as you know if you're a regular viewer, we don't spend a lot of time raising money. We don't spend a lot of time saying, oh, you need to buy this and we're going to, no. We're bringing you a message, but we still have bills that we need to pay. I'm asking you, if you have been blessed by this show, to please go to our website or send a check to the address you see on the screen or call the phone number that you see on the screen and use your credit card and to give $50 or $100 or $500 just to help us meet our normal expenses. And we'll keep bringing you this hard-hitting show. Donald Trump does not choose his words carefully. May I say this? Hooray. Now, you know, there's a proverb in the Bible. It says, in the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. That's Old English. Said in modern English, that would be, when somebody talks a lot, they're going to sin. They're going to say something stupid. They are. All of us do. You do understand that. That when we're sitting around, you're talking with your wife, you're talking with your husband. You always do blah, blah, blah. Well, no, they don't. They don't always do blah, blah, blah. If they always did the thing that ticks you off, you wouldn't have married them. Okay? So usually when we say to somebody, you always, we've in the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin, we're usually being dishonest. Now, we don't even think about it. You follow me? It's unscripted, the things that we're saying. We're saying things that come into our head, but the scripting, the perfection of the words, like Obama's teleprompters, that's not what matters. It really isn't. What matters is the direction, the momentum, the pathos, what the essence of the issue is. If I say to someone, you're always accusing people, well, that's not a true statement. The only person that would be true of is Satan himself, okay? But if the point is that there's somebody who really has an accusatory Pharisee spirit, well, the intent of what I'm saying, the direction, the dimension, the boldness, the impact of what I'm saying is true. And that is what I love about this man. I don't agree with him on everything. I just don't. But I love his honesty. I love his clarity. And I despise with a passion the calculating BS from Jeb Bush, go down the line, Lindsey Graham. I despise it. I despise it because it is iniquitous. It's evil. And let me tell you why. Because it's hypocritical. There are words who they get themselves looking exactly perfect. They speak with moderated tones. They read their teleprompter flawlessly, and they make statements like illegal immigrants coming here is an act of love. And then Donald Trump talks about a New York Times story saying how many women, illegal immigrants, are raped between their departure from their home and their illegal entry into the United States. And the number is astronomical. So Donald Trump talks about illegal immigrants being rapists and murderers and drug dealers, which clearly a lot of them are because of how many women are being sexually assaulted. And he's attacked. He's attacked for saying it. And Jeb Bush, who says it's an act of love, is given a pass. Do you see how ludicrous it is? And I got to close, I got to go, but Rush Limbaugh made a great point a couple days ago. He said the thing that's so great about Trump is he's not playing by the rules. The media establishment and the Republican establishment want to browbeat him into silence and then tuck his tail between his legs and exit stage right. And he's not going to do it. And I love that. And you know why I love it? Because I've had to do that many times in my life. Many times. Looked across an audience and said, this person is a murderer. They have blood on their hands, and people screaming, how dare you say that? So I'm not backing down because what I just said was true. I like the way he's saying it better than the way that Jeb Bush is not saying it. God save us from the beautiful teleprompters and well-dressed men of our day.